Hello and welcome everyone. First, I would like to thank you all of to take your time and still do this, especially on a short notice. My name is Shubham and I'm 2016 graduate from IIITDM. We try to keep connect with our alumni and also people from different fields and try to do some kind of webinar sessions where we can help on topics which are really useful to students. A lot of our students from IIITDM and other places we know go for foreign studies, especially in US, Germany, or in Netherlands. And I also work for marketing, and I know that a lot of you have a lot of questions on how is the situation on ground, and that's why we decided to do this webinar so that people know that how are the situation actually living, students who are living there, what are the problems they're facing, or what is the situation on ground. First, I would like to thanks Shreya, Prithvi, and Akash. And first, I would like to request them to introduce themselves, what they are studying, which city they are located in, and some detail about them. And then I can proceed with the questions. In the end, you will have time to ask your own questions. Also, you can comment on the YouTube, and our volunteer Harni, she will pass it to us, and we'll take that up. All right, so guys, please go ahead and introduce yourself. Anyone?
Okay, I can start probably. Hi everyone, I'm Shreya. I'm currently doing my master's in computer science from the University of Maryland, College Park, and I'm in College Park as well right now. A bit about myself. I studied COA computer engineering from IIIT and I'm a 2019 pass out. So I came here right after undergrad to do my master's.
Akash?
Hi, my name is Akash Kumar Jain and I'm doing a master's in high-tech engineering. It's part of mechanical engineering department here at Delft. I also live in Delft city and I'm from IIT Indore. I graduated in 2017.
Okay, great.
Hello everybody, I'm Prithvi. I graduated from Mechanical Engineering Design and Manufacturing in 2017 from a college, and from there I had 2 years work experience in L&T, and then last year I joined RWTH Aachen University studying robotic systems engineering. Aachen is kind of in the west of Germany, and it's been almost a year now.
Okay, great. Probably then I would like to start with Shreya. So Shreya, first of all, tell a little bit about the local situation in the place you are or in the country, and what's going on in your area, in where you live in the US.
Yeah, okay, sure. I think as of today, the state is like nearing 100,000 cases. But if you take the population of Maryland into consideration, this is like around 1.5%. So there are few other states in the country where the percentage is like nearing 10%. So I think that is dangerous. So Maryland is relatively safe. But okay, sure. I think as of today, as soon as the pandemic started, the governor like announced announced lockdown. The state did go into lockdown. So, but right now there is no ban as such. They just strongly advise you to like take caution, wear a mask, practice social distancing whenever you like step out. But generally speaking, in the country, there is no one rule. There's no like lockdown imposed. So there are few states which are performing worse than others, few are better. So, and there are few who have, began reopening, but few who have like paused reopening.
Okay, great. Akash, how about you? How is it going?
In Netherlands, I guess everything is open. It is closed for around 2 months, a month and a half, but only the barber shop, pubs and pubs, bar and university. Those are the things they were closed. And other than that, everything was open. People are still like on the beach. A lot of crowders there, and still it is there. And you only have to wear a mask if you're using public transport. That's it. And then there is guideline about 1.5 meters social distancing. That's it. Other than that, everything is open and fine. And we only have like few thousand cases, I guess.
Yeah, but the cases are actually increasing here as well, so
Yeah.
that's a
Also,
probably
recently
second wave
Belgium and
for us.
France they hit the second wave. So
Yeah, likely. Also, people who are like planning to study in Netherlands, I think the embassy and all, they have started opening up, but it is as usually taking a lot of time. And if you are planning to travel in advance, I think you can travel to Netherlands if you have got admission and you have also got, I think you get a short-term visa. So yeah, I mean that's the information I had. What about you, Prithvi? How are things in Germany, and what are the rules you guys are being forced to? Or
In Germany, the situation was almost like chill for quite a long time,
mm-hmm,
and the lockdown was lifted like 3 or 4 months ago.
mm-hmm,
And since then, they have started lifting several other bans. Like initially, people were not allowed to go in large groups, but they have removed that as well. And I mean, from I think from the last 2 weeks, they have started conducting events as well with large groups. And as usual, just like in Germany, you have to wear a mask when you're in a public transport or in some closed area like a restaurant or a supermarket.
okay, great. For you guys, when did your Shreya, so starting with you again, when did your university announce the lockdown, and did they specify some specific, like initially, what are the conditions or rules they ask you to follow, or did they do for you?
Okay, so I think when this all started, we were supposed to break for spring break, like around 14th or 14th of March. Starting from that, we had like a week of spring break. So what they did was they extended the spring break by another week, and the
Mm-hmm,
second week was used to like transition to an online environment. So they initially announced that classes will be virtual until say the first week of April, and then around the end of March they said they like decide what's going to happen for the rest of the semester. We kind of knew that it will be online, but they didn't immediately announce that the whole semester would be online. So it was like first a gradual transition, I would say. And all classes were, of course, we were having them on Zoom or WebEx, and they were posting the instructor, the professors, they were posting all the notes. And I think all my exams were made take home.
mm-hmm.
And but few of the undergrad courses, they did like conduct exams online. They had like online proctoring. So that was there, like every course was independent of each other. It depended on the professor how they wanted to conduct things.
Just to follow up, like since everybody created their own rule, so did you have any confusion because of that? Some professors want something to be done in your new format, or does that affect your grading as such, or the quality of the
uh,
course? How do you feel about that?
No, so it didn't create any confusion for me at least, because all my classes were the professors announced that the exam will be take home and like open book, open internet, open everything. So it's like, okay, I didn't have two separate things for two separate courses, or yeah, different courses. Grading wise, okay, quality of lecture wise, they did try their best, to simulate like a offline environment, even in the online setting. So few of the professors, they got like whiteboards. They still used to like write and take classes on Zoom, try to have discussions, using that raise hand feature for the students to ask doubts.
Mhm.
So I say they did their best, and quality wise, it might not have reduced, like the quality might not have reduced, but interaction wise, trying to talk with the professor in person is definitely different than interacting with them virtually.
That's correct. Moving forward to Akash, I will have the same question. So, when did your university announce the lockdown as such, and what did they tell you at that point of time? Was the instruction clear enough, or uh, how did it go for you in start of Corona?
it's like Tudor they ease into the lockdown. Like they started from mid of February, but they didn't shut down everything by then. And like one by one, they shut down all the buildings and all the facilities. And all our exams means all our classes, exams, everything went online. So the worst thing happened about means yeah, lectures they became quite boring because you can't interact with others, and social life was actually affected a lot. Then there's other thing at least in my faculty we have these lot of company visits, lectures from the company guests and all. So all of them were cancelled. Luckily, there were a few companies who are willing to give online tours, online lectures. So that was a good thing. And also there was this online proctoring during the exams. Then there is this new rule came, like Dutch government said that you can't do that because it invades the privacy of the person. So they again came up with some other rules for fourth quarter. Like in Netherlands, we have quarter system, unlike semester system. So for third quarter exams were like all the exams are online proctoring, but fourth quarter you can just they'll give you a exam paper, you just write it in the given time and submit it. That's it.
Okay. Same question for Prithvi.
For us, the lockdown kind of started. The university lockdown was kind of separate though. Germany announced the lockdown in around 10th of March, but the university they took a 5 days late though. Not sure why. I mean, many students started complaining as well, like why is the lockdown not yet imposed? And yeah, they just sent a mail one day, and some of our exams were postponed, and that's it. Yeah, as usual, we had our exams again during that time, and the start of the second semester was postponed. They had already announced that the lectures will be online completely. Yeah, but the exams were still paper based. I mean, you have to go to the hall and write it down. And yeah, they what you say? They kept announcing the dates when it might get started and all, and it happened in somewhere around June. So our exams are not like what you say very different though, but our lectures were completely online, and most of the lectures were conducted through Zoom. There was nothing blackboard or anything, and yeah, some of them were even worse though. Like they used to just upload the last year's lectures and give it to us, so we didn't even have the option of asking them any doubts or anything. And yeah.
Okay. Adding to that, to my own experience from university in Netherlands, I think the professors were a bit more flexible. They knew that this is a kind of new situation, so they allowed us more space for like the assignments. For some of the courses I heard they reduced the number of assignments. For some of the courses they also allowed students to, like, of course we also had the take-home exams. Some students, like some courses, you need to have the exam taken, like proctored exam, so you need to have camera and webcam and everything ready so that and people can claim, like, of course if something goes wrong, but that was stressful for many of students. In general, yes, Netherlands, I think we did had a good job. Like in general, from university also, we had a clear-cut instruction. They accepted that they don't know what's going on. That was conveyed to us in the instruction itself. They also provided us some support, but yeah, we'll talk about that. Coming back to the online lecture, so maybe Shreya, what do you think about the effectiveness? Like, what was the good about it and what was bad about it, in your opinion?
Okay. The good thing was that I can wake up at 9 for a 9 a.m. lecture and not wake up earlier, pack my things and go to the university. Although I do live just right off campus, it's still, a task to get up and commute. So I'd say that was probably the only good thing. I initially thought that flexibility was a good thing because I needn't, see the lecture when the lecture was given because it will be like recorded and uploaded. But I found myself not doing the record, not seeing the recorded lectures later on. I'm like, okay, it's anyway there, so I need to see it. So I sort of kept pushing that. So that kind of became a disadvantage later, which, yeah. And another obvious thing would be the interaction. So a lot of times, so after lectures, we used to just sit in the class and interact with other students to see like what they thought or ask about anything else. Needn't be only about that particular class. So I think that is something essential. It's underrated, but it is like essential to build that sort of connection with your peers. So that was like a major disadvantage. And of course, if you have like technical difficulties, you are not able to, the professor gets cut off or you get cut off. So you lose that flow, right? So this never happens when you are in class, in person taking the class.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. Akash, how about you? How was your this online learning experience, and how would you compare to good and the bad and general experience with studying in class?
So that one pro that actually at UDELT they record all the lectures and they usually teach everything on digital boards. So what I had to do, I had to like attend all the classes before Corona, and then I have to rewatch the lectures to make my notes. But after Corona, what I was doing, I was not actually attending any lectures online. I was just rewatching them, like watching for the first time the recorded lecture and making my notes while pausing it and all. So it was a good thing. I saved a lot of time. Actually, I tried watching lectures on live lectures, but I fell asleep a lot during those lectures. So and the yeah, same thing as Sira said, that social life, that peer thing, that you sit with some students, you discuss it during the lectures or after the lectures. I missed that a lot. And also we had a lot of group projects. I had like 5 group projects in my last quarter, and none of them were like up to the mark because we were just doing all the group projects on Zoom. We were unable to convey our thoughts properly without seeing each other, and also that was the bad part. And other than that, it was like quite okay, I guess. Like not that different.
Okay. Um, Same goes for Prithvi. What do you think good and bad about this whole online learning process?
I think for us it depends on the subject as well. We had some technical subjects which were like okay. I mean, it was very much similar experience. And as usual, the only issue is that we won't be able to interact with our peers and clarify our doubts though. And we had some management subjects though this semester, and it was a big disadvantage because for management subjects, you are required to interact with your peers a lot. And we also had some group assignments as well, and conducting meetings in Zoom is like quite cumbersome, quite boring as well. Like something that could finish in one meeting took us like 4 or 5 Zoom meetings, and it like kind of prolonged a lot. And one disadvantage with some of our lectures is that some professors they chose not to upload the lectures. Though. Not sure why. They used to conduct the live Zoom lecture, and you are supposed to like watch it, and they won't upload it later. They would definitely upload the slides though, but yeah, that's what you felt. If, I mean, when you're conducting a online lecture, why not upload it? And apart from that, yeah, I would say yeah, they still miss the physical classes.
Mm-hmm. Adding my experience, I think from university they made it like no attendance. So you, when it's online classes, you are not really like we do have a group-based system. So they split entire class into say group of 15 or 12 people. So of course the interaction part definitely we miss because now I have attended classes with people whom I would never see ever. So and I like when you go in a class, we actually like you have a gap, you talk to each other and get a coffee or things like that. That doesn't happen anymore. So I think more social part definitely we miss, and since they allowed us to like no attendance, I think we were a bit relaxed at times. I was like okay, I would not attend the session or things like that. So sometimes people the discussions would not be good enough because people don't show up or things like that. That was one bad way of affecting. And also I think with the group project that was one big issue to collaborate and work. Earlier it used to be like we all plan a time, meet in library and done for the day. Like whole day you have booked in your calendar to work at something and you are done by end of the day. Here you worked whole day and still that nothing is done. So indeed, I think this online collaboration takes some more time. But I also got a lot of good things out of it. Like we have this 2 hour sessions. So we have to engage people and we have to find out a way. So earlier in the start of the courses, it was really bad. Like you don't want to sit for 2 hours to listen to people, 12 people or like whatever discussion, but people found ways to keep everyone engaged. So that was a really good learning on the good side of mostly it was bad, but there was tiny thing which are good, like how to keep people engaged for hours was like one thing I learned. Um, starting with Shreya again. Did the current situation create any stress? Obviously, it would have stress and anxiety, but the main important part is how did you deal with that? And yeah, I mean, that's the question.
Yeah, it definitely did create a lot of stress and anxiety, but I think slowly. So I'm currently living with my classmates who are also Indian students. So they are undergoing the same thing. Like whatever I'm going through, they are going through the same thing. So that kind of help me. Although it doesn't directly affect me, it is good to know that there are people who you can talk to and share things with. So that was definitely helpful. And in general, I would say, yeah, I think talking to my friends, that was like the major thing that helped me get through this.
Did university provide any kind of support on that? Like for us,
Okay,
like we got some psychological counselor you can talk to or things like that?
They did like start announcing a lot of initiatives that started, because of COVID. There were a lot of counselors on campus or even off campus that were available that students could talk to. And in generally, I think the university did a great job at trying to make students feel like comfortable and try to like make the transition as smooth as possible for the students, like trying to cut down projects and yeah and assignments as such. So
Akash, how was your experience on dealing with the stress due to Corona?
There were few moments where like a lot of my friends got depressed because of Corona. They were like not in touch with anyone. So the only thing which got me through it was I kept in touch with all my friends, keep calling them. They kept calling me, and the friends who lived nearby, we usually cooked together, had parties, and a lot. So be in touch with people. That's the only thing I can advise me, which got me through that.
Although
And
that
then
doesn't sound
also
safe,
university
sorry to
provided.
interrupt. Partying in Corona. You
Yeah,
just
so
confessed
like you
it.
can at least get two of your friends, so three of you can party. That's okay, I guess.
Okay.
So I have like two, one Dutch friend and one Indian friend. They just live like around 2 houses from me, away from me.
Mm-hmm.
So usually like cook together, played some music, drank some beer. So that kind of party, not a big party.
Okay.
And also university, like they kept mailing us about the study counselor, psychologist, and mental health advisors. So you can just call them, set up web chat with them or video call with them. So a few means I know few people who utilize that thing. So that is quite useful too.
Okay, great.
yeah, I'll just probably quickly add on to that. Even few of my professors, like the professor I was TAing for, he actually reached out. He is like, do you want to talk and discuss something? If anything's bothering you, he extended his yeah. Yeah. So I think that was good. Like as a professor, he needn't have done that, but he was not even my direct professor. Like he wasn't teaching me. I was just like a TA for him. But I think that was really sweet of him to like reach out and ensure that I'm doing okay.
What about you, Prithvi? What did you do?
For me personally, it was quite stressful though. That time we were still having our exams, and on top of that, most of the cases from in Europe came from Italy, right? So we were hearing the news that cases in Italy were rising quite rapidly, and most of the people who got cases in Germany were coming from Italy, and they had some carnival going on that time.
Yeah.
So that was kind of quite stressful, and moreover, like we were quite angry with the government. Why were they not still imposing a lockdown? It took like around 2 weeks time, and yeah, as usual, even we got some psychological help. The college provided us contacts for psychological counselors. And coming to financial help, yeah, even the government did a good job though. Like for example, some of my seniors who have done a part-time job, and it kind of got postponed. Like what you say, due to the lockdown, they were not able to go there for their part-time. So the government they generally have unemployment benefits. So if suppose you lose your job, you get some amount from the government. And for students, like especially for students, you could apply for a particular scholarship though, which provides you 500 euros a month. But the condition is that you should have only a minimum of 500 euros in your bank account. So unfortunately, I could not avail the benefit. And but my seniors did it though. You also have another benefit, like they provide you 600 euros loan, which you can repay it by the next year of March, interest free. And yeah, these were the financial help that people got. And they did a good job in trying to relieve the stress though. Like after 1 month since the lockdown, the situation was really good over here. People like they really had a lot of faith in their healthcare system. I mean, like within 1 month, people started roaming again, and when they are alone, like they don't wear their masks and all. And the situation improved quite a lot.
Okay. Adding to the Netherlands experience, I think for me again it was stressful. I booked parents were pressuring to return back, so I booked 2 flights, and none of them left Netherlands, I guess. So I mean that money is stuck anyway. Dealing with the stress, yes, I think we did had a video session with the university where they told about how all this will affect you and what can you do to deal with it. So I tried to follow some of the advice they gave, and it kind of helped me. I think the biggest struggle was for because I'm graduating in this season, so it was even more stressful because already we have uncertainty as an international student that we will get a job or where we will be after the course. But the graduation made it even more tricky. So, and I was pursuing an internship, which again made it a bit more problem because then coordinating with people in work, it was taking more time. Again, as you said, I think dealing with stress was mostly to talking people who are in the same situation as us. I think that was the common theme I could guess from what we talked about. And also financial side definitely creates a problem here in Netherlands. The government did provide an option that to companies and to everywhere that if you pay your salary to everyone, the government will pay the 90% of it. So that's why there were no people didn't lose jobs or things like that a lot. Hospitality was probably the most affected part, and it is because the town I live in here mostly it's students and they work into all hospitality part. But informal sector there was not really any uh, a, a lot of problems, so it looked a bit more secure when we look at the news that what are the economic prospects and things like that. Um, yeah, I think the more stress thing was for coming from outside when you read the news and when you see outside than the actual situation. So probably one recommendation would be to not read or watch a lot of news that can that can really bias or make its situation look worse than actually it is. All right.
By the
Moving to
way,
yeah, please
did
go
you
ahead.
did you get your money for the
Uh,
ticket?
I mean, okay, so they have promised they will give at some point of time, or they can give me a voucher, but I don't want to take a voucher. I don't know when I'll be flying or if I'll be flying. So because I have booked 2 flights, so that's why one I already got the voucher, other I have to get the money. So um, so the next question is how did the COVID affect or change your academic life, such as the lab work? Like for example, some of you might be going to the lab or don't have the access to lab or uh, classes in general. I think we already covered a bit of it, but if you can talk more about the whole experience as such with your changed experience, like you can talk about the online stuff as well as the whole like access to facilities such as labs or libraries or sitting in your home, it will be great. So maybe Shreya, you can start with.
Yeah, sure. So I think because I am studying computer science, I didn't require to like go to the lab, and I'm not like working on any hardware aspect. So that I didn't have like a requirement to be on campus to be on lab, but I usually prefer to do that. I don't feel like studying in my room at home, so I usually stay in the computer science building. They used to have these huddle rooms where you can just book it and then kind of book it for the day, and just work on your project or anything else. So that was definitely something that I missed, because at home, I technically I did have all the resources I needed to do my research, do my courses, but the environment did really matter. Like it was not the same. Like I was less productive, at least initially, and I was like trying a way to like figure out how I can simulate that environment at home. So I was just able to like I just kept trying to like rearrange my room, like just move around things so that it feels like a new thing, or just probably go outside and sit on the bench. We have just outside my house, we have like a little bench where it is secluded, like nobody really uses it. So I try to do that sometimes, just like to have a change in environment. But yeah, technically I didn't have any requirements, so there's no hardware requirements that force me to go to the
But I would say like
CS building.
productivity fall is the problem.
Yeah, that's the major thing for me. Yeah, but there were like a few of my friends who were like working on, who had to like conduct experiments, so they had definitely had to go to the lab. So for them, I think initially there was a pause on their research. They could not go, and then slowly they started allowing those people who had like a necessity, because the equipment was in the lab, so they can't conduct experiments from home. Only those people were like allowed to go back.
What about you, Akash? I think for you, you definitely need access to lab, right? If I'm correct.
So luckily for my last quarter, there were no labs, but a lot of group projects which were really affected a lot. And also, as I already said, that company visits, they were part of my last quarter, so couldn't visit any one of the companies. All the company lectures got cancelled, other than except one which got online, so that is good. And yeah, that's it, I guess.
So how does that affect for the maybe networking or your job prospects? Because I think, does that event really help? The company visits and all, are they supposed to help with your internship or jobs, or are they
Yeah,
meant?
they are supposed to, but due to that online thing, you can't actually contact the person because you haven't met them in person.
Yeah.
So it's like a normal mail you can send for master thesis or internship. So that is the bad part of that.
Okay, so
And
in a
also, as
way,
Sarah said, the productivity thing. Before Corona, I used to go to library, used to sit there with my friends, used to stay together. But all of that, we couldn't do that because library was closed. So there's a roof on a student library. So I used to sit on the library because library was closed. So I tried that, but that was not that good either. So yeah, for a 1 hour work, I had to spend like 3 4 hours. So there was huge lack in productivity.
okay. What about Prithvi?
Yeah, even the same issue for me. Like, I prefer studying in my library, but all the facilities were closed. Unfortunately, we didn't have any lab courses this semester, and we had programming subjects, so they didn't require any particular lab though. Our computer was sufficient. But yeah, I preferred actually learning in what is it, library among my friends, and that was a big minus this semester. And coming to, like, we had some career fairs as well, but they were completely online. They were conducted in a Zoom meeting, so there was actually no point of conducting it because, like, for each company we had a separate screen though, so we had to keep opening the different screen and everything. And even if they hadn't conducted it, it wouldn't have been a big difference. So that was a big disadvantage. And as usual, many of the social events were cancelled as well. So yeah, staying at home was sometimes what we used to do. We used to like meet some of our friends who would meet at someone's home, and we used to like kind of study sometimes as well.
Okay, so did any of the, like, for any of you, did the universities come up with some other events where then they can help you connect with the recruiters, or um, mostly from the job aspects or your internship aspect? Did they plan anything extra for you guys?
I mean, at least for me, I still have time though. Like this is just my first year.
Yeah, yeah.
Coming to my seniors, I think many of them had what is applied for the internships during the month of February and March.
Mm-hmm.
They got it, but due to the lockdown, it was kind of postponed. Luckily, none of the internships were cancelled though. It was just postponed. But yeah, some of my seniors who were from management, right? For them, it was kind of difficult to get an internship. And yeah, I think the university, yeah, they have particular people with whom you can contact and like what you say, review your resume and ask them about tips and everything.
Okay. I think the same problem for me as well. We had, like in March, we had a lot of business days, so per se. So we are supposed to talk to the company's representatives and things like that. I think none of that happened. And I think here in Europe, I would say networking is the key to for jobs as such. I'm not sure how is it in US exactly, but I think networking is the key part because you when you go to LinkedIn, you see 500 people have applied. So getting through all that, I think the recruiters would prefer to know a person, and if you really match, they kind of go and approach you, or if you approach them, they respond positively. So I think that even that added to the stress because all the business days, I think they were either made on like we had a business days, but the company didn't allow the people who were supposed to meet us to travel because, of course, there's a risk for company people itself. So as such, business days happened, but the representatives were online, which doesn't really make a sense. Um, so yeah, I think that even was a problem. I think that was the biggest challenge for me because um, during the same time, like I was supposed to get like planning for that from a bit more time, like preparing your all resume and getting everything polished and shape and getting everything ready, and then you find out that this is not happening. So that was a bit more stressful. Coming back to the next question, so Shreya, if you're going to start your studies now, like say you were supposed to start from next period, given the current experience you have, and now you know that how the universities are going to teach you, or what are the pros and cons of studying in whatever shape your studies are going on, would you start your master's program or your whatever program you're doing at this point of time, or would you postpone it?
Okay. I think I personally would definitely postpone it because masters is not just about the courses you take or the material you learn. It's like an entire experience. So the very fact that you move to like another country, learn to live on your own, interact with people from different cultures, talk to people about, the subject you and they are passionate about. So you kind of like need the whole thing. It's not just that, okay, this university has an excellent course, this prof is good, his content is good, so I want to do masters for that and learn about that. It's not just about that. So I think I would rather have like an in-person experience than just take courses online. So if you start now, you'd probably just have to, okay, the university might try to, have social meetings, like social Zoom rooms. Even we have UMD is right now trying to like organize Friday socials so that new students get to interact with us. I did like participate in few of them where, I spoke to a couple of people who are planning to join. But although the university will definitely is trying to do its best to like simulate that in-person experience, it is definitely like never the same as actually being on campus and interacting with people. So.
Okay. But the follow-up would be like you don't know how long this will go
Yeah,
on.
that is that is that is true. We hope it ends like, it takes a pandemic like it lasts for around 18 months, so it should hopefully be like gone by the next year or year and a
Okay.
half.
What about you, Akash? Would you rather postpone it or continue with your studies and plans you have?
So if I would have been joining this year, I would have actually been, means I would have postponed it because you're just paying a hefty fee for Coursera course. That's what I'll say in simple words. But yeah, my recently actually tutor announced that they are opening all the classes from this September. So if you're joining this year, then probably you will be able to attend physical classes. But again, you have to maintain 1.5 meter distance. So that won't be similar as attending it before Corona. So but still, yes, we are not paying for the education we are getting here, and just the content and all. You can get that for free on Coursera and some other platforms. We're paying for the social experiment, that exchange of thoughts with not just with the professor, but also with our peers. So I guess I would have postponed my education if I would have been joining this year.
Prithvi?
Yeah, as everybody has mentioned, a master program is just not about the courses. It is also about the infrastructure. I mean, you not just study, you also like meet people from different parts of the world, and yeah, even several clubs. You like kind of interact with several clubs, and maybe try to find out what you want to become in the future. And especially if you are a person from India, I would definitely suggest you to like postpone your master's plans because getting a visa is also a bit of an headache. You have to like, at least for Germany, you have to like continually contact the German embassy, and then like you have to go there. Like getting a slot itself is difficult. For German embassy, you have to like what you say, book the slot before submitting your documents, and there are kind of a lot of frauds going on. Like some consultancies, they book all the slots, so getting a regular slot for a normal person is quite difficult. And also, like after after the visa has been issued, you have to go there and collect it. And especially in India, it's very risky right now to go out. So I would definitely suggest anybody who want to start their masters to like kind of defer it, postpone it.
I'd like to add something quickly. So, but it is okay even if you like want to start online now, because even right, if you see me, I'm okay. I did tell that I would start later, but I'm not. I can take a gap year now, which I'm not doing. So it doesn't mean that I don't want the on like I want only the in-person experience. So it is okay even if you think that it's fine if I start online and it slowly, you will like eventually get to have the in-person experience. So you needn't like take whatever we say too hard. Like you can make your
Yeah,
decisions
yeah,
based
it's
on
just a
what you
suggestion. Yeah.
think is. Yeah, this is
Adding that to
probably
my
just like a
opinion,
personal.
I too have a kind of mixed feelings. I just wouldn't want to continue my master's from India. That's the last thing I would want to do because some of my friends who started the master's here and then they had to fly back and now they are staying there. So that is something I was totally avoid. Even if you're living here, I would say that at least in start it would like from outside it would look really bad, but here I think they have started the library itself. You can like we have to make reservation before they give you like full day slot. So those kind of things are there, but indeed we have a chance. Classes as such, I think university, at least my university, they know that in person or the social part is really important, so they have tried to made it like half of the classes online and half of the classes in person. For in person, they have made it smaller groups. Earlier, we used to be like 12 or 15 people in a group. Now, those are like 4 or 5 people, and who are like sitting a bit spread out, and that with, of course, with local regulations, whatever is the situation. Uh, but yeah, I think even I would suggest postponing at least for some time. Like if you can postpone, like I think at least in Netherlands they start during September and February, or they have two intakes. So at least by one intake, I would postpone it. Also, if your course is like for 2 years, I think that duration as well as the situation you are in, like if you're going to sit at home in India, I would say it's not a good option. If you have got a job or if you're already working on some internship or something, that would be really great. I mean that then you can think about postponing it. But if higher education is your only shot or that's the only thing you have planned it, I would not suggest to postpone because again, most of the time the master courses are 2 years, and you know that like by 6 months, uh, or with all the positive news that some vaccine or something or things will be there in shape, or we would figure out a way. So I would say that if you have a plan to start your studies, which is a 2-year course, do start it. If you have a short master's, like 1 year, I would suggest that you can probably postpone to the next intake. That would be my 2 cents. I'll just check if we had some questions. So I think this was one of the main questions. So should people continue or should they uh, leave their studies for afterwards? Uh, Also, I think nobody is really happy. Like I would just try to summarize, nobody is really happy with the online experience of classes. So that is not really worth paying as an international student. So that's probably another reason why you should, like, if that's the only way of studying, then postponing is should be the one option. Um, I think we kind of have covered most of the question I wanted to ask or what the students had asked. Mostly they were regarding, is it safe in your place? Like if they are already admitted to your university, is it safe to start their program like from the current cycle wherever you are? I mean, probably Shreya, like all of you can tell, um, is it safe enough to
As in, is it
start?
safe to come here
They are planning to
and
come to
start? Or
your, like if they are got accepted, or is it okay to
oh,
start now?
I think if they get a visa, I think that is a major obstacle. After they come here, you can definitely practice social distancing and be safe. So I did see like a couple of people moving into the um, complex I'm living in. I'm living in like a community with all graduate students, not together, obviously. We have separate buildings. So I have seen people move in, like the fall 2020 batch. The admits, few people have like moved in. So like once you get here, it's easy to be safe. But I think getting here is the toughest part.
Okay. What about you, Akash? Is it safe to start studying at TU Delft now? I have to move to
I guess
Delft just
it
to tell.
is. They only have like two rules right now that if you're coming from some like red zone countries, including India, then you have to self quarantine yourself for 14 days or 15 days and maintain 1.5 meters distance. That's it. And they're also like starting physical lectures from September. So I guess it's like you can come, and the only thing there's Prithvi said that getting a visa, it's like similar to Germany. It's the same as the case for Netherlands.
Okay.
So if you get a visa and you're admitted, then yeah, sure, you should come and join.
Prithvi?
Yeah, in terms of safety, Germany is quite safe. But the government and even many universities have announced that the next semester will be online. So again, it's up to the person if he is willing to like attend an online session completely. But yeah, one more thing, like many universities have suggested the students to stay back in their home countries and attend the lectures.
Okay.
So anyways, it's up to the person again if they want to like continue one semester. One good thing is that you don't have to pay the rent when you're in Germany, so you can stay back at home and study. And yeah, hopefully, but as we know, the second wave might be coming, and we don't know what the situation might be. So yeah, and it's up to the person then again.
Okay. Probably to summarize, so if you can get your visa sorted before your course starts, or if you have already got it some way and you can travel, then probably it's good to start your studies. No need to like postponing is the other option, but if you have already planned it, yeah, it is safe to travel. You have to follow the like safe social distancing and all those things, and it is pretty much feasible. As I understand, it may not be feasible in India, but it's very much feasible in Germany, Netherlands, and US. I would assume, right? So it shouldn't be
Like I'm not sure about international travel, but within the US,
yeah, within
people
the US,
are
I would
like,
say.
yeah,
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 of
they
course.
are like leaving. They're not allowing people to sit together. They're
Yeah.
practicing social distancing within the flights too. It is still not entirely safe, but if there is an emergency and you have to go, I think it should be like acceptable.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we are running out of time, so probably I would say that's the last question, and I don't see any more question as such other than Shreya's fan spamming the YouTube. So yeah, that's all, guys, and thank you for watching. And I would like to thank all of you, Shreya, Akash, and Prithvi, for taking your time. And also, if you, for the viewers, if you have question, I have added a link to the profile for these guys. If you're starting at their universities, especially, you can contact them. You can just say a hi, introduce yourself, and know more. That if you have any specific question, in general, the main question that should you postpone or should you start it now? I think we did discussed it. If you still further have question and you think any of us can help it, do feel free to reach out. And yeah, enjoy your weekend and have a good master's degree. Bye, guys.
Yeah, bye. Thanks, Shubham.
Okay,
and even Harini for like organizing this entire thing. Yeah.
I think we are offline.